Alright, so we're gonna get this guy out of here. Our exhaust come in today. We're gonna try to work on this tonight, Monday night possibly. Look at that, everything's still in place. Oh man, my helper's loaded up stuff wrong. Look at that. That is not supposed to be up there, because then it rubs against the car. And that's what it did too, rubbed against the valence. It's supposed to be back there, that way it can't go forward. Along with that, that would have been really nasty if that gas can would have got into that paint, that metal can. But it made it. I'm missing a cup somewhere in here where she's at. So anyway, we're gonna get this thing unloaded and get this thing on the lift. Try to do some exhaust work. Oh, there's the cup behind the tire. All right, this thing does not like cold weather. Let's see if she will wake up from a sleep. Get some heat in it. It does not like to move at all when it's cold. It is crazy. It's pretty cold outside. Let's see what the temperature says. Yeah, 50 degrees. Battery's a little weak. Boy, she does not like cold weather. I have to be honest with y'all, I do not feel like going back to this shop. So we're headed to the shop. It is 8:51, 38 degrees outside. I don't want to be here. I want to be in my bed. I was in bed, and I debated on not getting up, not coming in. Some of y'all say you admire my drive and stuff, so that's why I figured I'd show this and just keep it real with y'all. I was looking at the clock and I said it's 8:45. I said, nah, that puts me getting in the shop around 9:05. I like to be in bed by 11. That only gives me 2 hours at the max. I still got to shower. I still have to edit a YouTube video for y'all. Let's just stay in bed. You know, let's just use that as an excuse, stay in bed and not go get started on the exhaust on this car. And when reality is, even if I go get an hour in, that's how you make things happen, is by getting a little in. I have 3 weeks off from having to take that car to the track again, and I want to enjoy some of this time off. I've put a lot into this car, a lot of time into this car, and I want a little bit of time off. I want a little bit of a normal life. I don't really have a normal life. I work a ton. I work at my job a ton. I work on my business a ton, I guess you could say. I work on this car a ton. I put a lot of effort into YouTube. I edit a lot of videos. I record a lot. I don't really have much of a life besides outside of hustling, building my future, and building this car. So I'm chasing goals, I'm chasing dreams, and I'm chasing the almighty dollar all the time. This is what reality of that looks like, besides what everybody else makes the glamour out to be. so of course I get here and realize I forgot my new V-bands at the house. I don't think I'm gonna make it that far to needing the V-bands. I can at least get my exhaust cut. If I can get this section of the floor out tonight and get my 90 cut to where it comes out as far as it can here and the distance here on both sides, then I won't be bad at all, because I can tack up my V-bands tomorrow and then start my turnouts. I mean, I got other work to do anyway that I kind of forgot about. You know, we got to move these lines back down. We got to work around these fuel lines again. Over here we got trans lines, which aren't really bad. They're not really in the way. But the skis, man, the skis. So they have to come off. We need some of this room right here. So we're going to have to actually cut it. We'll probably cut it right here. I think we'll probably start right here, or maybe in this little area right here. We'll try to keep my skis. So we'll probably cut it right through here and then try to get the exhaust out between here and here so that we're not taking no more of the floor out than we have to. So we just want to get this little section out right here so we can turn out. And you gotta remember, let's see here, my cage is welded right here. So this is, you can see the burn-in mark of my cage is right there to here on the back of the car. So it has structure between there. Like the cage literally kind of sits like right above this, but we're gonna actually support this cage back on the inside. We're gonna do a little more welding on the inside, we will be, and we're gonna support this cage to this front area up here. So we're actually gonna put a brace to the cage in there is the plans. We just haven't done it yet. This side you can see the burn in, so that's where the cage is sitting at, the plate. So again, same thing, is we're gonna have to tie it in. What I'll probably do is I'll probably take this out slowly. I don't think I'll take all of this out. I think what I'll do is I'll start just trying to notch this out a little bit and see where I can get this exhaust to fall basically off of this pinch weld, which has already been bent, needs to be bent back. But basically once it's level, we don't really want the exhaust running uphill, and it don't look like my collector, because it's gonna be off the top of my collector up here. It doesn't look like it's all the way to the floor, so it looks like maybe it'll fall in here somewhere. So if we can keep a little bit of meat in here, and then we can come inside here and reinforce that with some rectangular tubing, that will be cool. But the first situation, mark the skis. Let's get the skis out the way. Mark this, let's make a little notch in this, and then let's lay out our 90 and see where it falls. All right, so here's our exhaust pipe that we got in. Now this is just straight up regular exhaust pipe. It's not exactly anything fancy, because I can't afford anything fancy. So I can't afford really, or it's not that I can't afford. I don't want to put myself in more debt for nice stainless stuff that's on there. So this is what we went with. Yes, we're gonna have to put a hanger on this. So we're gonna have to attach this to the body because we're getting a little bit of weight off of this collector. So we just literally gonna come out of here, 90, come out. So this right here, this 90 is not gonna be seen. It's gonna be under the car. We're gonna paint it black probably, or we might wrap it in exhaust wrap just for the looks, not so much for the heat or anything like that, but just either wrap it or paint it high temp black. When we go from here, when we actually turn, when we do a little turn up outside of the car, we're going to attempt to cut up our old pipe right here. So we're going to attempt to use this little kick up right here. So cut it about here, cut it right there at old V-bands, and just use that little tiny kick up and polish, shine this one back up, polish these back up. Hopefully. If not, we'll just paint these black too. I just can't, the pipe that's already comes, whatever you call it, the stainless where it's polished and all that stuff or whatever, man, I can't keep running this freaking bill up. So that's why we're using what we're using. If anybody's wondering, you could definitely get a lot lighter weight stuff. We could have got aluminum V-band, aluminum piping, and aluminum more piping, but I'm trying to just work with what I already got. Since it's already got that stainless right there, I'm never going to use them again because they're dumped. I figured let's just go the cheaper route for right now. If I pay off a bunch of debt and then want to change these to aluminum or make them, nicer, I can always do that later. So we got the skis out. let's start trying to just kind of hold our piece up here and kind of figure out how much we need to cut out for starters. All right, so to get our perfect cut around it, we're looking for the bend line. Okay, so there's always going to be a little crease that you can feel with your finger where the machine bent this thing. And normally if you look, you'll be able to see a mark. So the camera can probably pick it up right there, the ridges, but you can actually feel it right here. Okay, so that's the bend line. That's where the bend starts this way, and then that's the way it goes straight. So you can feel there's no imperfections this way at all, besides where it clamped it in to make the bend, but you can definitely feel a little bit of wrinkle right there. You can feel where that bend starts. And you'll be able to feel that on both sides. So we marked that with a Sharpie, and then we have took our V-band clamp, which you can just use a regular hose clamp if you don't happen to already have one of these, and we just tighten this thing down to where it's snug and it touches the Sharpie line I made right there. And now I can take my Sharpie and draw this thing around. That way you could take a cutoff wheel and get a perfect cut all the way around, just like you had a giant chop saw. Now I do have a giant chop saw sitting right here. The blade is extremely wore out and small, so that wouldn't really cut through it efficiently, but it's faster just to take the Sharpie, draw it like this, take our cutoff wheel, flip it around, cut it, grind it, we're good to go. We want to cut as much out of this leg as we can so we can keep this 90 as far forward towards the front tires as we can. We're not going to be able to get it underneath the fender, but it should fall about the door fender line is going to be my guess by the time we come off 90 off this. So by the time we 90 off this, we should fall about right in here. You know, I love to get it up here, but it's just not going to simply happen because our collector is pretty much right here. And that, you know, you got to have room for the 90. So it's going to fall somewhere back here, but we're going to try to keep it as far forward as we can. So we're cutting absolutely everything off of this leg as we can cut off. Let's get the first one cut. All right, so that's going to work out extremely nice. Let me see if I can do this one-handed. So I have the frame notched out here. You can see we actually have a little bit of rust up in there. So, I mean, this stuff is not very structural. It's definitely some structural. But here's what we're going to do, is we'll be able to leave this meat that's here, and we should be able to get some steel square boxing up in there and plug weld it. So we'll be able to drill a hole like 1, 2, 3, you know, and then 3 on this side, and then weld all the way down this, and we should be able to get that, some rectangle steel I have at house, and plug weld it, because this fits it now. So when that's through there, and when we actually hit that, you can see how close we are to the floor, and you can see how low this is out here. So we can technically notch some of this pinch weld out if we want. We'll probably just fold it. I think I'll fold it. That way we can hug this rocker as tight as we can. But yeah, that worked out freaking amazing, because now I can, you know, get this exhaust will be up high. It looks pretty level from up here, and we don't have to take out all the floor structure. So that makes me happy. I know that makes y'all happy. And we'll be able to put some more better strength in there, and we'll try to kick that bar as far back as we can get this thing to go this way, and then come back in this way and plug weld it all the way down the sides. So let's get the other side cut, and then we'll probably try to figure out our distance, our other little piece, or, you know, to get out to the side. Like I said, it maybe even cut the V-bands off the old stuff tonight at least. That way that's done, since I can't really put this together because I don't have the V-bands. We can go ahead and tack this on tonight, so I'm gonna have to extend these out. We'll probably go ahead and do that. We'll put some tacks on, and then that way we can mark where our final end falls at and get that cut tonight also. And then basically tomorrow, hopefully all we'll have to do is weld the V-bands, or welding, you know, weld the V-bands on, weld them structures in, and I can do all that hopefully on my lunch break, and then it can go to the house, because these can be built outside of the car. We just needed to cut that floor structure out, because I thought I was going to have to drill the spot welds out and everything. I thought I was going to take this whole section out, and I didn't want to be drilling on spot welds at the house. So I'm very stoked that I can leave some of that. Hopefully the other side, the collector is the same height. It should be. Jason Braswell is extremely an artist, so his forward and backwards should be extremely close, and his up and down should be very close. So let's notch the other side the same amount, pretty much. Let's go ahead and cut our other leg though the same, and we're going to take this piece and we're going to lay it up here like this, just to make sure that we're cutting about the same out of each leg. And that should be, yep, that's pretty consistent, where it's right on our bend pretty much. All right, let's do it.
All right, so I literally couldn't have done this more perfect if I tried. Like if I took measurements, it wouldn't have turned out more perfect. I don't know how much of this exhaust y'all have seen. I'm gonna go ahead and show you while I'm under here real fast while I'm thinking about it. That's how my headers loop around. I know sometimes it's hard to see in the garage. Turn the lights on for y'all. They snake all up around everything. This is a good shot while we are underneath the car. So, I mean, these things are just absolute work of art by Jason Braswell. Yeah, I mean, they're just absolutely amazing. This side over there hugs up. It comes down. It hugs all around the steering rack. I mean, look at the steering rack, man. Or the steering, yeah. It's crazy. They hug all around all of this. They wrap around everything. I mean, there's not an inch to spare under here. So that's what my headers look like. That's how tight it is under here. But look at this. So with welding the leg on, I did not cut this. This is just scrap leg that I cut off. I mean, can you get better than that? Goodness gracious. Y'all go ahead and give me a thumbs up for pure luck. Pure luck. I hammered and smashed my flange up. These things don't hold worth the crap. If you try to jack these cars up from this, they just fold over. These things were already damaged. And it's crazy because when I originally built this car, I painted this whole bottom of this car. I was literally going to hand straighten all these out and dolly every inch, bodywork it, make sure, you know, leave the spot welds. But I was going to restore these pinch welds back to like OEM. That's the level that I was originally at with this car. And then here is actually a piece of information a lot of people don't know. This car was like drug on a stump or on the ground or something, and I didn't fix it. So I actually opted out of hammering that out. You would have to weld plates on the frame rack like we showed, pull this down just a little, hammer that out, body work that section, that rocker was never done. So there it is, a little piece of insider. This side has not hammered over quite as good as the other side. I think I need to fold it more up this way. Let's see how far. Yeah, this side, the fold goes all the way into the fender. Yeah, this fold needs to go to about right here, and that'll help that layout. So I'm going to do this. I don't have the V-bands, so I can't put both on here right now. I'm not going to be able to show y'all both at this moment. We're going to lay this back on the ground. I can weld this completely out tonight and get my little turn piece cut. But I want to check my other side real fast and see what that looks like, too. All right, I'm out of here for tonight. I got these pieces welded up. I got my extensions welded on. That grinded out. I'm going to look and see if this is actually stainless. I'm 99% sure this is not stainless. I'm sure this is just regular galvanized exhaust tubing. I'm going to look back at my order, though. Got it decently grinded out. Went ahead and welded it up with a flux core. I still have not switched to gas. It's a time thing. I just want to get stuff done. Cut my old V-bands off, which, man, it almost is like I could freaking reuse them. I should have not ordered some. I should have just reused them. I don't know. I got new ones. We'll save these just as spare if we ever need to cut this crap out of there. At least we got some. Cut the old ones off as close as I could and figured out my distance from my shortest point right here and my longest point. Kind of made them match. They're very close, within 1/8 of an inch. It's hard when you're working with scrap pipe. My ends are not cut equal. I need to flat wheel them. I wish I had one of them big tabletop disc grinders where I could just hold this thing on there and get it smooth. But we're going to flat wheel it. It'll be okay. We'll weld in the gaps if there is any. And these are going to be our little turn up pieces out of the side. It's late. We're going to call it quits for tonight. I forgot the V-bands at the house, like I said. So tomorrow we will get back on this. Get this done. We need to do the floor structure while it's on the lift. This can be done at a later date if need to be, but we're going to try to knock all this out tomorrow. Let's get to the house.